putting part to the recording here. Yeah, we that is my favorite thing is I would get not as much anymore, but I've gotten before. When people get frustrated and they get on a one-on-one, or you guys have even heard in our little open session where people would just be like, "Oh man, you know, I got wrecked again. Like, why can't you just tell me where it's gonna go?" And I'm like, you all seem to be under a false impression that anybody knows where it's gonna go for certain. It's just not a thing. We like to believe we do, but it is not a thing, guys. We can, and that's the thing with trading is nothing is 100%, absolutely nothing. But it's all about probability. Every single thing is a 50-50 try, no matter what, because you have two buttons to push. It's not a roulette wheel where you got a couple green in there. You got two buttons. All you're doing is you're trying to increase that probability or those odds by narrowing it down through pattern, structure, things like that. And yep, but oh, very very cool. Let me go live on it here, guys. Guys, we did also, for those that might have joined a little later and didn't get the explanation, we didn't take any trades because we had news. And we are in such a jacked up range that if we break out one way or the other, it's going to break out pretty hard. And so, one thing I want to note here from what we talked about, it's kind of funny, but notice how it's doing what I said earlier, where I was like, kill zone loves to pull us, and then 8:30 pre-market to 9:30 to 9:30 likes to push, and so we ended up doing that. And so, if from now to 9:30 we tend to continue to stay up here or push, then that would be our pre-market push. Might have an inverse, but um, guys, let's take a minute break. While I got everything loaded up here, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then we'll dial in. Let everybody come on in. I have to start a final countdown again.
Yeah, we don't need to be thinking that song.
6 NQ long.
10 NQ, my friend. And the song's already stuck in my head. I need Eye of the Tiger instead. You know, I was laughing about that song, Eye of the Tiger. That used to be back in high school our warm up song for when we wrestled, and we'd go out there and they'd do that. But yeah, when he said that, it brought back 1980s memories.
Yeah, they played for football for us. Kind of taking the range though.
Okay. Yeah. Ready to do this or what? Dun, dun, dun. Pushing right up into that trend line there, aren't we? Gonna be interesting. I'm really curious if we get that Thursday pumping up that we were talking about. Morning, those are joining. What's up, man? Yeah, we're gonna. It's gonna be an interesting day. It's gonna be an interesting day. We haven't even really asked any thing with Neo. So guys, those joining in, I usually give it a few to let people kind of join in, but pre-market we were mostly just discussing where we are. You know, a couple probability things, and we're getting a pretty deep push. So the news came out more bullish to my understanding, and we did get a good push up first. We did sweep the low, couldn't create the lower low. We held resistance kind of at that 50, but then we broke through it. So now it's kind of pushing. It's at a pretty critical area. So I'm gonna take this off out. I don't like that. Let's clean up some of these that we were doing. I'm gonna leave the lower one. But we're in a really critical area, guys, where at the end of the day, we're just ranging until we're not. So in order for us to really get a good breakout, I have these lines marked, the white ones. The low is the CPI low, the high is the CPI high. We're still internal. So until we break one side or the other of that, we're internal. And so we got to trade it that way. So for us to push up even to the 950 is normal. And for us to fall all the way back down to 750 or 45 would be normal. As far as if we're going to go up a lot or we're going to dump to the floor, there's a few things that have to happen. One of them is going to be breaking that area. So we want to see that get respected. So if we want to push up heavily, I'll tell you anything around 950, I'm not really looking too long until it gets through 950. Now, even if it gets through 950, you can see we did it there and we swept it. I would want to see that break, and the difference is I want to see a hold, a show of support with a close, and then I'll be interested in going long. I damn sure wouldn't be going shorts, anything above that. Now, if it does something like that, where you reclaim it, lose it, and Neo gives that call, then I'm okay taking that short. So, similar to down here. There's also kind of a structure, if you're one that loves the old trend lines, like that. So as long as we stay above this, we're going to see upside. If we break that, we'll see some downside. So jumping a little early, but it's okay. We were kind of looking, so you can see structure-wise, we had a really good trend line break, really good retest, and a push. We had a pull, which this one was around, I think, the 618 on the retracement to reclaim the 0.5, and we dropped, or jumped. That jump did not create a higher high, but we've held that 50 of that structure, so it's not done. It could still have expansion. And so anything that is above here, which is going to be like 769, runs the risk of jumping pretty heavily. But if we lose that 769, 745, it's going to run the risk of a deeper drop. So now from a structure standpoint into a pattern, it's more continuation than it is bearish for sure now. But my only kind of thing that we were talking about is these highs are going to be very, very, very respected. And you can see that's what dropped us pretty hard there. A good amount of times when they do these trend line breaks, they love to just do like a little like push and then a deep trend line touch again, like a double touch, because that just wrecks everybody who tries to take the longer play. So, we'll have to see kind of how today plays out, but it's not real surprising that we've been ranging in this area here because you can see, guys, this is where we ranged in this area here. And so, but we're getting some pretty good pressure on the pre-market, so I'm curious to see what Neo says as far as levels here. Again, if there's no other day to try to lean on Neo, I think days like today are one that you want to do. Since I'm going to primarily be on this chart, I'm going to mark at least the 30,077. I think is what we had. So that's kind of my, I'm gonna put it as yellow. This one is like, it's our critical line. If we come up into here, I'm not longing into that thing. No chance. I'll let it go. It just goes. If we break above this one, you do not want to short that top because it can go really far. But we may get there, may not. We'll see. You can see, guys, from this morning when we talked about the news play. So we are getting that expansion because we got the close and hold. Notice right there. That's the top of the news candle, which was a rejection, then turned support, pushed, nice little hold there, suggesting more push. So pretty clear from that. It is a pre-market push, so we were talking about it, and I always find it funny because Killzone typically likes to pull one way, and the pre-market will pull the other way. The news did come out a little bullish, which is now going to be our second bullish day, our news thing, right? So we had the CPI that was a little bullish, not more than expected, but still bullish, and then the jobless. So I'm told a little more people are out of work, and the government sees that as bullish. So, yeah. So we'll see where we want to go, but for those following on TikTok, I'm gonna put it in there just so that way people have it. Hold on, let's see. We'll put it, and then I'll pin it. Does it want to try to follow along? I'm unfollowing you. You're stupid, Cody. One in every crowd, man. Oh my god. 7,500 to the first 7 messages in debt because I'm just bored and I woke up and I just want to help everybody in the world and I'm not going to scam you at all. Yeah, that's when you get those I'll do it. Just give me your bank info. I'll log in and put it right in there for you. I promise. God. The sad part about all that stuff, guys, while I'm getting set up and waiting a couple minutes here, is the only reason why that stuff gets worse is because people fall for it. They would not, if nobody fought for it, they would not be doing it. And that's the sad part. Is because you know that people are getting smacked with that.
He's an African prince, and he's just trying to share.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Just woke up, decided to jump on my TikTok stream. I'm gonna go through TikTok because I'm a billionaire. Oh, first 7 people. I'm bored. Like it's just, oh man, it sucks because again, it's all those type of people. They're preying on people's hopes and dreams, and right now times are tough for a lot of people, and that's not only the scammers but this industry. People prey on the hopes and dreams. So, okay, I think I pinned it. Did I pin it? Pin it. Why in the world? Oh my goodness, TikTok hates me. I'm trying to pin it and it says no, not approved. I'm just gonna try to do like a stupid. Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. This platform, I'll tell you. Just gonna put that. Let's see.
Well,
Let's see.
don't tell anybody you're live. At least it don't me. That could be why
Dude,
no one's in here.
that one had pinned it. Oh, I know. I'm telling you, I don't. I don't want to get into that too early because then they're gonna do it again. But they did it to me last night too, which we'll talk about later. I don't know
I
why
gotta
it
search
hates
it
me.
every morning.
Oh, I know. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. Trust me, I know, because every day I get people message me and they're like, "I thought you said you go live Monday through Friday." I do. We were live. We did great. We won. Couldn't find you. Not surprised. Oh, it blows my mind. Okay. So, guys, we got 9:15. Kind of went through that already. Let's quickly, for those new to here. This is Neo. We are going to be trading today. And so I'm going to do my best to answer comments on that. Most of you guys in here know. A good amount of people do help with the comments, which is awesome. And this is our site, NextStepAlgo.com. This is our AI Neo. So he's going to be in TradeVision. That's what we'll be doing. We've done this for quite some time. Every morning he's called pretty much on point the first couple moves. And so I always give my little humble disclaimer of, he's got to be wrong at some point, so keep your volumes respectful. So, uh, but yeah, let's give him a little start up here.
Yo, Nick, the gloves are laced and the bulls and bears are ready for the opening bell. I'm ready. What's on the menu?
He's still doing the boxing term. Yeah, and so you guys can follow along if you're new. Appreciate the follow, guys. We were just talking about it. If you don't follow me, then you probably won't find me because they suppress me. So, I won't have enough time to really answer that question deeply, but keep in mind we just had a whole almost like a 30-minute discussion about strategies like that. And so keep in mind he is AI. He is not going to be, it's not like he is out here going, I'm nailing it ICT. I'm going to go out here and AMD. I don't care what strategy you're using, and I'll give you my summarized version of my 30-minute speech earlier. I don't care what strategy it is. It does not matter what it is. CRT, AMD, ICC, throw out another three-letter, acronym. They all are derivatives of structure and candles. That's all they are. And all the strategy is it's telling you when this candle does this, it is going to do this. Or when this structure does this, it's going to do this, right? And so you got to remember he is AI. He could interpret all that. So it's not like I have to tell him like, hey, this is an ICT advanced strat like that, if that makes sense. He's going to understand all. We have data that is sent to him that is needed to interpret it the way we want him to. And then he has instructions of kind of how to look at it, and that's pretty much it. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'll go on that, just for the sake of time, because we got opening coming on there. But yeah, I just did a whole like soapbox speech about, and I'd love for anybody in TikTok joining while we do have a few minutes chiming in on this. But the more strategies you learn, you typically find that you get worse at trading. Anybody out there relate? It's because you're trying to frame it in a way that, oh man, I learned this one strategy. Is it this? No, it might be this other one. Wait, ooh, it kind of looks like this. Ooh, no, that might be a little AMD, but ooh, I don't know. Look at that candle on the high time. This might be CRT. Like, but that conflicts with the ICT. Like, and our brain just goes in overload, right? And it's because you're trying to box it into a strategy. And I teach people to not do that. Learning those strategies is fine, but all strategies are just derivatives of structure or candles. That's all they are. And so as long as you know how to interpret that, I don't care what you call it. And so that's kind of my thoughts from within that. But all right. Let's get going, guys. So again, we're gonna get started here. I like to start off with just kind of getting some levels from Neo. And he's going to tell us levels to watch for. Then as we mark those levels up on our screen, we will ask him the old famous question right before market open and go through. So when you guys kind of follow along, just know the levels are the most important thing that Neo does and says. If he is talking about levels that are critical, we want to watch that. If he has a lot of data that goes to him, but he has the ability to choose which ones he believes is relevant. And that's why sometimes I will ask him, and I'm curious what he does now, Morning, if I've had times where he'll say our upper resistance is 921 and then give me all kinds of levels down here. And I'm like, why are we not getting levels above? And he's like, don't worry about it. I mean, it tells you something. He doesn't believe they're relevant. And usually we don't break and hold them. We drop. And so it's pretty awesome. But yeah, focus on the levels, guys. You know, the way Neo works is when I talk to him, I use the microphone, or I can type. Usually I use the microphone. The moment I microphone it and send it to him, he's already pulled that data instantly. And so US Open, if I happen to push the mic and say, hey, where do you think we're going? And as I'm talking, the mic drops. He's going to say, well, with the MNQ at 908, because that's when I initiated it, right? And so don't get too honed up on what he says within that. It's more the levels, the direction, the bias, what the institutions are doing. Those are the parts you want to really, really focus on. So good morning. We are live on TikTok and we are on with the community, ready for another amazing day. Can you give me the key levels in this area that we should be watching so we can mark our charts?
Good morning, Nick. Let's get the crowd hyped. The market is shadowboxing, so here's the hit list to mark up before the bell. With MNQ at 29,907.50, overhead we're looking at the Europe high near 29,921.00 and the ORB high up at 30,001.50 as our primary upside reaction zones. Below us, we have a heavy cluster starting with the 50% midpoint at 29,878.75, followed by the institutional walls at 29,864.14, 29,854.3, and 29,844.3, which are all acting as below price retest context. Use these as reaction areas to see who's really in the ring, not a guarantee where the price is headed.
Okay, so 78, 75. So I always like to, about 10 minutes lately, get the levels, because the levels tend to matter on his call of where we're going to send price anyways, unless we just get a dramatic pull from it. So 64. What? Hey. So you, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock? 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I got you, Ishmael. I'm like, who's he yelling at? All right, 854. This one we'll throw out the 854.25. Love the hot mic moments, right, Stone? And then 844. So interesting little cluster down here that he seems to see as relevant. So interesting. Okay. So we have those. We have about 6 minutes before I will ask the old Neo question that everybody loves so much. A few disclaimers. If you look at my chart here, what you're gonna see on these levels, I don't normally have white lines, but I did put them today. The reason I put them today is the upper ones represent the CPI candle that was high low. It's really important because when you have a really big news candle like that, you want to determine, are we internal or are we breaking out? And so we're still internal until we break out of the 950. Anything internal is just going to range up, down, up, down, up, down until one breaks. Then we had today's news candle, which is this one. That one we marked. Yeah, right there. So we had this push and then we had the pull. So the 15-second was there. I think we marked it off the 1 minute. Yeah. Maybe what were we on? We must have been on the 5 minute when we marked it. Yeah. I'm gonna pull this down to this one. Yeah, we'll just pull it to the low. That's fine. And so when you see the white candles there, they're important. As long as we stay above here, it's likely more upside. If we lose that, likely more downside. Because then you're disrespecting those news candles from where we push. If we stay above the 894, sweep the 950, reject on his level of the 30,000, and we hold this as support, and we break 30,000, this is a really line in the sand candle, guys. If we break above this 30,077, do not try to short that. It could go a lot higher. Now, what I would love to see is us do this and then this. That would be fantastic. Thursdays are interesting because they usually love to do like a little trap moves or pump and dump kind of thing where they'll have us kind of kill zone drop it, pre-market push it, maybe sweep it, and then drop it. So I'm kind of curious if that's how it's going to play. But we'll see what Neo says. What do I know? He's been on point for a while. Anybody who is new to kind of the channel, again, Neo's the AI we created in our company. When if you want to hang around and watch, it's good to do that. Just to see what he can do. But also, you can try him out. So you get a 3-day free trial that you can do by going to the website. And there's no settings, no data, no nothing. You can literally do it from your cell phone. And so we'll see kind of where we go from there. If you want to see what he's done, our trading videos here, anybody can click on. It's just a link to the YouTube there for the videos. And so we record everything we do. All right, so we got about 2 minutes, and then we'll talk to him. I ask a question every morning for 8-9 weeks. I don't know. I feel like I lost count, so we just keep throwing out weeks. I don't even know how long now. And the question is where you would send price to wreck the most retail traders come U.S. Open, and that move he has called has been just freaking spot on every day. Now, sometimes it's going to be more accurate than others, meaning sometimes he'll say, if I were to run the book, I would sweep the 921 before slamming it down to whatever number he picks down here. I don't take the first move. That's just me. I've not done that because more times than not, it's the trap move. But I will take the short when it reclaims where it broke. And then it, as 100% of the time, I'll say, has hit that target when it does that. Now, if he says, I will push it through and slam it down, but it never breaks back through there, you don't want to take that short. Even if you don't take the long, who cares, right? Let it go if it didn't do what you anticipated. Now, if same thing the other way. If he says, I will slam it down and then bring it back up, I typically don't take the first move. Now, the reason why, and it's not always, and I know some of you guys have a little more kahunas from that, is sometimes he'll say, I'm going to slam it through 921, and it'll just do this and then dump. It doesn't go far. Sometimes it'll push really far and then take a minute and come back down, right? He doesn't necessarily say how far because it's market open. I mean, the fact that he predicts the direction anyways is impressive. So, but let's go to the minute. I just want to see. So we're within our 2 minutes. So let's see what he says. I like this one in sarcastic for some reason. I get a better feel for how he says it. All right, we have almost a minute away from our market open for the U.S. session. Based on the data you see, if you were a market maker running this book, where would you send price to wreck the most retail traders come market open? And so I'm going to try to interpret what he says as well, guys, with you guys.
Nick, let's leave the market maker roleplay to the fiction writers. But if you want to know where the retail herd gets slaughtered, it's the classic open trap. Everyone is drooling over that Europe high at 29,921.00, so the play is to pop it just enough above there to bait the breakout chasers, then immediately dump it into that institutional wall cluster between 29,844 and 29,864. It clears
down
out
here.
the longs before testing
It's
the
kind of what
actual
I was thinking,
support.
do the push
Don't
and
be
then
the
pull.
liquidity. Just watch for the sweep.
Okay, so the 921, his projection again, what you'd want to do would be sweep on the reclaim. I find it interesting he ignored all those and is calling that down there. So we'll see how that plays. So let's watch. Almost the bell, guys.
You didn't give
Almost.
anything above, like you didn't give anything above the 921?
He just said that they would sweep the 921 and then send it back down. So I want to see what the first move is. His projection, it seems to be more that way. So the question is on the open, do we get the sweep or do we just go that way? So we got the pull first. Might not even get the sweep. Let's see. Didn't even get the first sweep on that. So let's see. Let's give him a minute. Going long then short. See, you crazy. That's why I don't take that first one because you never know on it. So let's see if I want to see how it plays out because I'm curious if we see how we're tapping right on that 878. If we push back up, we might sweep it and then on the way back down break that. But the target he had was the 854, so we'll see if he gets that target. But let's get the institutional stuff. Now that you have the additional data, can you give me the institutional levels we should be watching? Getting a little dance. Notice this, guys. Watch. This is
Listen,
pretty
the market's
close.
already throwing haymakers, so let's get
See
the math
this?
straight before you get caught on the ropes. Price is at
He's still doing the.
29,912.75,
Let's see if he
which
hits
puts
his
that immediate
54.
reaction level at 29,907.22 right below you. Don't mistake that for overhead resistance anymore. It's your first layer of support now. Below that, you've got major support waiting at 29,882.22 and the institutional pivot chilling at 29,817.22. If you're looking for the ceiling that's actually holding the bulls back, that major wall is way up at 29,997.22. Use these as your referee zones because they're here to define the fight, not to carry you to the finish line.
Oh yeah, I have my TP at the 54, but I'm gonna trail it above the 78. So if we rip back above here, I might just take the stop out win. Yeah.
He hit the 64.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was. Didn't he say? I thought he said 44. Did he say 44 and 64? Oh, he did. He said 44, 64.
And,
Oh, I seen the 54. Yeah, he did hit the 64. Nice.
And 54 also.
Yeah, he said 64 between 844 and 864 is what he put on that. Nice. Very cool, guys. Very cool. You got it. Nice. Yeah, so nice little quick move for a lot of you guys. Did Alton, did you take that? Yeah, you took it. I figured you did. And so that's why I was saying, again, guys, calling market open is one of the most difficult things to do. There's people that have been trading for decades that still don't call market open. And so there has to be a little mild interpretation of how he's saying it. The fact that he was like, I'd sweep that and then send it all the way to there. It kind of tells you his direction is likely down there. And so that makes you kind of lean short within that, right? And so for me, right at the open, I didn't take it. But when I saw the push and the pull with that absorption kind of pulling right below these lows is when I just market ordered it in and then pushed that down for that. But yeah, so he hit a first TP. I'm curious if we're going to get back down to that 44 that he called. I was kind of honing in on that trade, so I didn't even look at the levels he gave us on the institutional side. So 907 is a reaction level, he said. So 907. So whenever he says reaction level, that means it doesn't mean bullish or bearish. It just means it's an area price will likely react. So if it pushes through this and stays above it, it's going to be deep upside. If we push through it and we lose it, then it's going to be deep downside on that.
This is 921.
Yeah, so now you hit the 921. See, now is where if you hit here and lose the 921, you could almost kind of write it back down. So we can kind of watch that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves too much here. Because we do have new levels. So we got the institutional context now. So we got 17.25. 882. Dun, 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 882 right there. And then these ones, I'll leave that one just as a low. We'll get rid of this one here for now. And then above us, he's got 997, which is pretty much this one. So we'll just pull that one down to 997. Right there. Okay. And so we have the 817, got that. 882, got that. I'm going to leave the 64 for now just because it's the low. 97. Okay, got it. Okay, I believe I got all those levels. Now that we had our kind of dump and then a little pump here, where do we see the market going from here? Let's see what he says here. Nice. Yeah, I know Alton and some of you guys love taking the first move, and then when it hits it, taking the retracement.
That little dump was just the market trying to shake the paper hands out of their seats before the real move. Buyers are clearly flexing, holding support at 29,907.22, and the path of least resistance is pointing straight toward that institutional wall at 30,007.22. I wouldn't recommend chasing this extension unless you enjoy being the exit liquidity, so wait for a pullback to confirm support before you start dreaming of hitting that ceiling.
So we're hitting the 997.
I got a good one on that. That was good.
Yeah, that was a nice little push. So if you take here, it could extend about 37. So he didn't give us anything above 997, so I'm curious to see if we get a little rejection here. But is there any context that you have above the 29,997 now that we're approaching that? Breaking through it now. Interesting.
Oh, you're already sniffing around the ceiling? Cute. Yeah, the market makers have definitely parked a couple of speed bumps in the driveway.
I think it's trying to get up to here.
You've got a major institutional resistance wall at 30,007.22, and if the bulls somehow blast past that without tripping over their own feet,
they're
there's
pushing.
another resistance level at 30,017.21 waiting to say hello. Don't go betting the farm on a straight shot through those. That's usually where liquidity goes to hibernate and breakout traders go to get their pockets picked.
Now that we've had a real aggressive move north, I'm not a big fan of taking longs without some kind of pullback. And so where would I look for on a short setup? Or what would I want to look for on a kind of a pullback hold?
Nick, you're looking to step in front of the freight train because it's moving too fast? Bold move. This rally is currently drunk on buying pressure, and trying to short it without hard evidence is just handing your chips to the bulls. A short only becomes worth considering if price breaks back below that institutional support zone at 30,007.22 to 30,017.77 and then fails to reclaim it with a 1-minute bearish candle close. If buyers reclaim that zone and hold, the short thesis is effectively dead. Also, don't let the bearish institutional flow fool you into getting lazy. Price is still printing higher, so I need to see the structure actually break before I trust a move lower.
Again, guys, part of what we did in the pre-market I was explaining, which I'm really curious to see if this is going to play out, is Thursdays love to do like a fake move, right? Where they'll do this like deep push and then slam it. But we now broke out of our CPI candle, so that was the 950. If I take kind of a predictive that I teach, that would put the high right there. Isn't that crazy? Look at that, guys. Pretty cool. Yeah, I would chill out then on that. Hold on. Because so there's a predictive thing that I teach that we've been playing with, and it marks a high literally to the T of where that high was. So obviously if we stay above this, we'll see further, but it works as far as a place to potentially stop us. But if we get a pull through here, then we're going to get a pull back to the 50, which will be that 950 area. So I'm just watching to see if we're going to get that that hold. So this 30,077, guys, is a really big level. If it happens to bust through that one, it's got a lot of room to go up. So we're holding this right now as of now. See if we get any absorption in there. Yeah, the buyers came out swinging. We don't need to do the boxing reference anymore. We can keep it straight for a little bit, and then we'll have some fun once we're done with the trading. He was doing boxing references last night. It was pretty funny. Yeah, he hit the target down below, and then a lot of people played the inverse of that. The inverse was stronger than the damn first move, but yeah, he hit that. He hit the first move.
Fair enough, Nick. If you want to retire the ring announcer routine, you'll need to head into your platform settings and toggle over to a professional or friendly personality. Until you do, you're stuck with the sarcasm. As for the market, those buyers aren't just swinging, they're overextending. We're sitting at 30,024.75, which is currently holding above that institutional wall at 30,016.8. Just because the bulls are having a party doesn't mean you have to jump into the middle of the dance floor without a plan. Chasing a move this vertical with volume at 4.2x average is a great way to end up holding the bag when the market finally remembers it needs to breathe.
I know, right? I want to look and see. Take our extension of the news candle. 3069. That'd be pretty close. Interesting. Yeah, so we'll look and see, guys. No shorts are going to be viable unless we break back below here, guys. We can just keep on rolling, so. Not an area I would take a trade here, guys. We already took our trades, got the short, hit the TPs. I know a bunch of people took that move there. Either you're trailing or you hit your TP back on the high level. This is kind of a no man land because if we don't break here and hold it, it's going to have a deep rejection back, guys. So even to get to the 50% pull would be back all the way to here, which would make sense because normally if you're going to break a critical candle, you'll get a push, a hold, hit the 50, and then it's either going to lose it and do the Thursday dump like I was telling everybody this morning, or it's going to bounce from there. So we're getting the sell pressure. We do got the structure, the doji, and the close below it to support the pull, but we didn't get the close below here. That's what I would rather see. Makes sense. What are the institutions doing? Are they buying or selling? Just so I have for my notes. I'm kind of watching the candles too because I want to see how this reacts here.
The institutions are currently playing a classic game of make up your mind, because they definitely aren't singing from the same songbook right now. To give you the play-by-play, the institutional flow bias is currently showing sell pressure, which leans bearish. However, the broader institutional bias is technically supportive above the pivot at 30,023.16. Since price is sitting at 30,011.50, we are stuck right in the middle of that conflict. Essentially, the flow and the setup are disagreeing with each other, which is just fantastic for making us sweat. I would not bet the farm on that sell pressure alone until price structure confirms it by losing local support. If the structure holds, that institutional selling might just be noise.
Yeah, so let's measure this. So what I was kind of watching when he started talking there is if you look at the retracement here, guys, what we want to see for that breakdown is we want to see the push, the sellers kick in, this candle with this candle supports reversal. The push here, I did not want it to break the 618, which it didn't, and we're closing back through. So if this can close with that lower low there, we'll get the expansion back. But well, I'm watching to see that. So it rejected where I wanted it to do it, but let's see if we get the propulsion from it. When they push like that, what would people look for to identify if this push is a trap before they pull the rug out? A little head and shoulders from it too.
The classic rug pull, the favorite pastime of the market makers. When price pushes into that 30,016.98 major institutional resistance like it's doing now, it's prime territory for trapping the hopefuls. I would look for a few telltale signs that the push is just a lure. First, if price wicks above 30,016.98 but fails to close a candle body or hold above it, that's your first red flag. Second, keep an eye on the volume. If we're pushing into that wall but buy pressure is wimpy, like the current 40% buy fraction, that's a huge trap warning. Finally, if price tries to push, gets rejected, and then creates a lower high, it's basically shouting that the buyers have run out of gas. If you see those,
And again,
I would treat it as a trap rather than a breakout, because nothing ruins a day quite like buying a breakout that turns into an exit liquidity event.
So let's see if this pulls. This was definitely a good bearish structural setup. Look at that just got massively invalidated. If you go to the
straight off that 997.
Yeah. And if you look at the close on the 1 minute, we didn't quite close below that 30,007. Yeah, that bounced right off that sucker, didn't it? I want to see if we get off this. If we go above that 7.7, guys, that's good. That push is going to be big. So, but that was our first little bear trap, but it didn't quite get that close below the 7.7. So now we want to see how high is this thing going to go. Because remember, last time it did this, where was it? Oh, we swept here, so we just got another high. Anything that breaks through the 7.7, guys, if it gives extension, you're going to look for the pull, hold, and then I would aim only long. So, oh yeah, this is for sure manipulation on it. It's Thursday manipulation going on here. But we have pretty good steam going on here. So my favorite trades are when it breaks a key level and loses it. So preferably I would rather this push, pull, drop than play my long back or play that deeper. But let's see. The bulls are definitely pushing this thing like they got nothing to lose. Do you see any signs of bears kicking in, or what signs would they likely try to defend? Let's see. Looking at, you can see if you take the retracement, if you take there, would be perfect on the 236. But yeah, I mean, this right here, guys, this should have went here. So the fact that it reclaimed it is likely what's causing this craziness. So do not short up here, guys. Do not short up here, because this thing could just really go. Now we're going to try to determine, is it a push or
the bulls are
a
acting
sweep?
like they've got an endless supply of espresso, but look where we are. We're bumping right into that 30,099.20 major institutional wall, which is usually where the party gets interrupted.
It's another
If the bears are going to wake up and crash this, I would watch for the rejected breakout special. Price wicks above 30,099.20, but the candles can't close above it to save their lives. If I see that massive 87% buy pressure start to flatline while price stalls right at that wall, that's a classic sign the bulls are hitting the ceiling. If we then dump back below the 30,075 area and start forming lower highs, the bears are likely loading up the bus to pull the rug. Until then, it's just the bulls testing the wall.
Yeah. Well, they're testing.
This is Asia.
Yeah, this is I mean it's the coupling of the two news pushes, right? And we're in a like I said, we were in a bullish pattern breakout from what we were looking at earlier in the pre-market. What I want to see though is that I know Thursdays love to do this like kind of like a push trap pull, but I'm not seeing it yet. So that's kind of what I'm watching. And so looking here. As we continue to drive, what would you look for up here for a long and a short?
Right now, the Bulls are having a field day, but we're dancing on some thin ice near 30,111.33 major institutional support. For the long, I'd look for buyers to defend the 30,111.33 zone like their lives depend on it. If we get a clean hold and then a 1-minute bullish candle close back above the 30,125.25 high, that's your long signal. The first meaningful target is tricky since we're at the high, so I'd manage it through developing structure.
Yeah, that's pushing.
Your first warning is failing back below 30,111.33, and structural invalidation is a confirmed loss of that zone. For the short, this one needs the rug to actually get pulled.
Yeah,
I'd need to see a 1-minute bearish candle close below that same 30,111.33 support level.
I'm just going to see if it holds.
The bears are finally awake and kicking the door down. The first meaningful target is the 30,017 area. Your first warning is a reclaim of 30,111.33, and structural invalidation is if price fails to hold below that 30,111.33 floor with a convincing reclaim. Just remember, institutional flow is still shouting, sell, so if the bullish structure fails, that rug pull could get ugly fast.
Yeah, it can. So again, guys, I would not touch a short up here at all until you get reclaiming below these levels. For sure, because this thing can go much, much higher. So I've already taken mine. I don't think I'm gonna chase this long unless I get some kind of pullback on that. So I'm gonna look and see. I might look at doing something real quick. So let's kind of wait. Again, most of you guys already took your wins from the short, and I'm sure you took the wins from the longs for those that took those. I think up here it's really dangerous. So be really careful because Thursdays love to do these crazy bullish moves and then reverse the hell out of it. But I don't think a short is going to be viable until you at least get really below that 75, guys. And so I'm going to look at something. I don't think I'm going to play with any more of my funded, so I might do another eval on this one. So just kind of get set up. Let's wait a second, and we'll check with Neo again. We'll let this settle here.
I think that 155 is resistance now, so far.
Yeah. Yep, I'm telling you, man, be careful because they're gonna do that little slam down, I think. So I'm kind of watching. So what two things are gonna happen on it because we know this is an institutional level here. We're gonna either pull here, tap, pull, tap, and jump again if we want to be really bullish, or we're gonna lose this, kind of pickle it a little bit, lose this, and begin a descent. So yeah.
I think the bears are hibernating now.
Yep. I agree. I'm gonna let this settle here. I'm just looking at a couple things. Very interesting.
Like a month ago, I took that pay on that builder.
Yeah.
So I stood alive. It was almost dead. I thought my drawdown was up to 136. I brought
Nice.
it back to life, and I have the greatest problem ever. I'm making too much money today.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
So I made $1,600. So I gotta lose like 700 in order to trade out 2 small days and then to get a payout. It's crazy, but I love having that problem. How about that?
Right.
Good problem to have.
Heck
For
yeah,
sure.
man. Way to battle it.
Good job.
Way to battle it, man. Way to battle it. Okay. Yeah, I'm waiting to see, guys, because I want to see if that holds. Because if that can hold that 30.75, man, that drop is going to be nasty. But if we can hold it, we definitely can go up a bit. So we'll watch and look at the higher time frames here in a second. Also, but just don't jump in. We've already had 2 really good moves from him. What'd you end up getting? Did you end up getting that, Drew? Hmm. Okay. Kind of weird. I was thinking of starting to thing over here, but I'm not getting count on it.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but it looks like it's testing that fib that we set earlier at 3150.
Yeah, we tapped at 54, so 88 is what I got. 288 is what I got as a high, so
I
the
was
next
gonna
level.
say like 285 is what I
Yeah.
had. So
Yeah, so we definitely can see further upside, guys. That's why I said I'm not interested in really chasing longs from deep expansion. One thing that I was looking at while I was kind of playing with that is if you look, we have a good pull here. If you tap that low, our extension would be 165, 167. And so what I'm curious is if we're gonna get something like this, where you, ooh, apparently I clicked the wrong thing, where you have a push, pull, push, hold, and then you get the weak third expansion. And then if we lose that low, would be the drop, right? Because then you have 3-tier push drop. And so we'll check in with old Neo up here again. As the market keeps climbing, if you have some new levels for us to mark on our chart so we can kind of keep up with this crazy madness. We took the short early and then took the long on the way up here, but I don't like anything up here, so just kind of want to mark out some levels and get your input.
The market is basically ignoring the bearish institutional flow and running on pure FOMO fumes. It's like watching a toddler run into traffic and somehow missing every single car. Since you're feeling the madness, mark 30,110.67 as your major gamma support floor. As long as price holds above that, the bulls are technically driving the bus. If you want to know where the next potential ceiling is, mark 30,309.59 as your major institutional resistance target. If price snaps back below that 30,110.67 floor, that's where the bears might finally get an invite to the party.
Yeah, this thing could keep going, guys, but I don't chase these things. Elton's like, I'm already in. Let's go, 284. And so, trying to see. Again, guys, the moves are already there for the day, so oh god, don't listen to old Alex James. That's a really interesting choice of name there, bot. Yeah, oh yeah. You gotta you can't FOMO into these things, guys. So it's funny. I preach about this quite a bit each day, but that's funny, right? Uh, if you are in your trading career and you cannot not like a setup and see a trade do this and just not freak out in the lottery ticket mindset of man, I miss it. As Neo will tell you, you didn't miss shit. If you didn't anticipate it or it's not part of your plan, you didn't miss it. Now, what I love is the purple blocks are amazing. So you can see we got a nice little $30 move out of that, which is amazing. 15-second. I love that that indicator picked up the push. You can see this one caught the bottom there, which was freaking perfect. And then that one caught the additional push. And so for me, I had a good Asia. I already have a payout ready. I don't want to touch this. That's why I was thinking of playing with maybe an eval, but either way, I won't. I've been talking about it for some time in the mentor group that if we get above this 75, 77 area, this is dangerous area because we can push here and just moonshot like to 600. Like it could just keep on going, right? Or we could push through here and struggle and then lose it in a fake out. The fact that it's Thursday, like if this was any other day, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would have taken that long right there. I would wait for a pull again, wait for a doji close, take another long. I would just eaten the longs up. I don't like it because it's Thursday. So Thursdays I've done this so much where they'll do these deep pushes and then just inverse the shit out of it. I don't know that that's gonna happen. That's just more of a little PTSD bias that I have. And that's why I'm not really big on jumping through this right here. But notice we got the push, the pull, the push, the pull, and then see this is the weak expansion that I'm looking at here. And so typically when you get that kind of a structure, when you get this, if it ends up a weak expansion, so weak expansion means if I take this low to that high, and I take that low, right, pushes up, so a little bit less on that expansion. So mild weakness on that push from the extension of it. But if we come into this low, anything that is less than that will show weakness. Anything from there rejecting on a 50 would be around 200. So if it comes up smacks 200 and loses the high and the low, it's going to be a really deep inverse. But yeah, like just kind of like you're mentioning on that Alton, it's I mean you've already thrown out a ton of profits. It's not really um not really wise to keep chasing or you're gonna get caught. Just give it a minute here. Dun, dun. Just trying to figure out something. Yeah, so let's just let this settle here. Let's see. So when you look at the levels, I didn't mark those. I was trying to get a little sidetracked looking at something. I got a 309 is his peak up here. Again, we already got two really good moves, guys, so just be patient. There's a little thing I always refer to, which is called put your ass on timeout. If you get a good move, put your ass on timeout. You don't want to keep pushing them. So let's pull that one out. Then we got the 110, 309. Yeah, so 309 is what he's got as the target up there. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can't even get a decent pullback. And if you look at the pullbacks, if you take the fibs that I've been playing with everybody on lately, couldn't even get to the 236. And then if you take this one to there, right to the 382, when we haven't even got to the 0.5 at all on any of these pivots. And so, but I'm not a huge fan, like I said, of jumping into longs after the deep expansion. If you're already in it and you're a swing trader, hey, take it. You said looking, yeah, it, yeah. Like I said, I'm just looking for weakness on this. We want to just be a little patient. I would rather let this roll, and if it ends up a deep directional day, then so be it. Yeah, awesome. Good job, Alton. Yeah, I love that you trade fearless, man. You do awesome on that for sure, but you gotta be real careful with that for sure. Let's see. Just trying to do a quick ticket. I was gonna do an additional like bonus eval for this Lucid one, and it never showed up. So I'm like, what is going on? And they're usually really fast. Guys, I never had that issue with them. It's interesting. To have faith for the long, I would not touch a long unless I saw this do this, hold this, come back through, and then show some kind of strength off that. Then you can scalp that back long. Preferably, I would almost rather lose this level because that gives me more confidence. Bounce on the higher time frame support and then reclaim that level. That would show me that the buyers are just not going to let it go. I just, again, guys, yeah, the trap and block could be good too. So yeah, if you come into the trap and block and then you pull out of that too. The nice thing about the trap and block, like we talked about yesterday, is you can get a pull here, a pull out of it, and take the long, and then just set a tight stop loss. And if it's right, awesome. If it's not, yeah, Daniel, it's not really like a fear. It's a lot of times we don't like to be wrong, just as people. You know, is the biggest thing. So, but trying to see.
Nick, what indicator do you have on there right now?
That's the trap and block.
Okay.
Yeah. If you load it in, the only difference I do is I go to the settings and click the show bullish FVG, show bearish FVG. I turn those off. I only do that because I am heavily play on the 15-second, and sometimes you're going to get a bunch of those, and it messes up my Neo lines. Yeah, see, I figured when you get a big push on the low time frames, it gets a little bugged out on it. It's really good for the high time frames, but the 15-second, not so much at times. And so I turn those off because the most important one to me is those traps. So. Walk away. Oh yeah. And it's not really like, you guys will hear me say many, many times, it's not really a walk away just because of profits, right? It's a walk away because of where the market is. Now, if I was gonna take a long play that was gonna be going deep, and I wanted to give it some room, and I'm already in this trade to there, then it's fine. Just let it rip, let it roll until you start to see breakdown, which I don't see. But it definitely does not a smart move to enter along after a deep extension, guys. Like, we just literally jumped a little over, what, 300 points? Something like that. And so, to have, can it go farther? Of course it has. I mean, shoot, we've gone 800,000 points in a day. But you got to be able to clear out your FOMO from it. You cannot, the issue with people that struggle in market open is they get enticed by the, oh, it's jumping, here it is, I gotta go, okay, I'm long, oh sweet, another good trade, oh here it goes, it's gonna be long, oh another good trade, oh sweet, here it goes, all right, I'm gonna go long again. Lost everything because we get in, just, it's a FOMO. I'm sure many of you are looking at this going, dang, like, I don't know though, I feel like I should get in. Neo said it's 309, like, man, that's so far, like, I should just take the long. It's going to get there. Neo eventually will get there, and he probably will. He's really good at his stuff. But I don't like to take deep extension without structure. So if I'm going to get a deep extension like this, especially because I teach like a 3-tier extension fail, which is 1, 2, 3. Meaning that this can, remember we talked about it, it can get anywhere up to 200, somewhere in here. And if it rejects there, loses that low, it is just an absolutely nasty drop. It almost all the way back to the low, guys. And so I don't trust it right now. This is where, what would I be waiting for? If it wants to hit 309, go hit 309. I'm cool with it. Because guess what I'm going to do? When it gets to 309 and goes boop, and then gets to 309 and then goes boop, and then gets to 309 and goes boop, I'm going to take that break and I'm going to ride it back down. So, but I got no interest in playing that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious as to what is going on. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna send this over there. It's so weird because, like I said, I'm not touching my fundeds because I've already got the payout set for it, and so I was gonna get a couple of evals, and I didn't really want to do them on my funded, so I'm like, I'll put in a lucid order, and they're really fast, and they never showed up. So just like, what is going on? So I'm gonna send this real quick to them.
Yeah, Lucid does that now and then. They have these weird delays out of nowhere.
Is it? I've never had that delay. That's why I'm like, what is going on?
Even with payouts, sometimes they pay you like late in the night or the next day. Usually it's like 10, 20 minutes. I'm like, whoa, where's my money?
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, random. It's just random. But the delays on buying accounts usually happens, around the morning time like this.
Yeah.
I should know. I buy plenty of damn accounts in that.
Yeah, I don't usually have any issues with them, so I never really had to ever look. Interesting. But yeah, it's still climbing. We're just in that like testing the water slow climb. So again, I don't trust it, but we'll see. I'll wait till it gets to the 309, then we'll decide if we want to short it. What time we got? 10:13. Yeah, it's still so early. We got the 2 first trades, just massive. Yeah, so you're probably in a breakout trader, Rick. Any type of trend trading, y'all love this kind of day, and I do too. If I planned it, and took a trade and I'm trailing it, but I don't enter these extensions. Interesting. But yeah, guys, what I'm watching for, well, I'm kind of multitasking here, is this is that level that I really want to see, getting a trap block again. Because I'm trying to see if we're going to get that breakdown. But this is a pretty good structure here. So if we're getting a trap saying extension, but if it were going to break down, what you would want to see would be a tap there, a loss of here, maybe a little support, then a break, then a retest, and then that will likely give pretty good steam. But we're still getting trap and blocks up there, so this is where patience is a virtue, guys. If you treat trading the same every single day, you will definitely get wrecked because it is not the same every day. Yeah, that's so wild. Does it, Bobby, when that happened to you, does it show up on the dashboard though? Because usually at least it's on the dashboard. I don't even see it on the dashboard. Definitely not in TradeVision, but weird. Must be having a bug or something going on. Trap and block. So the trap and block is this purple you're getting here. So if the lettering is below, it typically means that they're setting up a potential trap to the south that would push it north. And so you can see here, the moment that it pulled here and then we push, we got this block. That means that it tells you that pull was a fake and then it's likely going up. So, now this is the 15-second. They're stronger the higher the time frame that you go. So be curious which one's populated on here. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. So right on open, we got a bullish order block, the green one. And then on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, let's see if we got anything. And this whole thing was pretty much a bullish order block trap. And so the higher time frame that you go, the stronger that it is. See, look at, actually look, this is I didn't even see this, guys, at 15. We had a good 15-minute trap and block, which told you that it was a trap and we're going up. So that would have told you as well. But the 15 seconds is really good for scalps, you know, if you're looking for more scalps. One thing that we were looking at, guys, too, I wonder if it's still in play. We haven't even looked at it. Let's see. Let's hide my lines for a second. Yeah. Remember we were talking about this? We've only had 3 daily trap and blocks. This one, which would have locked there, and it dropped 1,000 points. Then we had this one, which the lettering goes to the right, but it was on the left. When it's gray, it's just been invalidated after the fact. But the up one would have locked here, and it went another 1,000 points. Then it dropped, invalidated the level, pushed, we got another one, locked here, and typically you go 1,000 points. That's what it's been doing. And look, isn't that crazy? We're 200 points away from that 1,000 points. And so we were watching that a bit ago. You also have to look at it this way. So this is our 1 hour. You can see playing out really well as well. This was a block right here that looks like just got invalidated. But remember we were talking about this in the pre-market, guys. We have a push with a bullish extension pattern. And so the open swept and then broke through. Now we're out through extension. So this is why I'm not in a big rush to try to short something, because if you take the structure play, I mean, shit, we can get pretty damn high. It doesn't have to go directly because it's a high time frame, but it can go pretty high, guys. But what I want to see is there any kind of pullback at all from it? But
You saying it changes color when it's invalidated? I didn't know.
It'll go
nothing
gray.
about that.
Yeah, because it's not gonna, no levels hold forever, right? So this will keep extending until it breaks that, because what it's identifying is not the structure necessarily. It's that price levels it believes is a trap area. So anything that pulls into that, you don't want to short into that. Now, see how this one, you can see it ended up pushing. We got one out, so it locked. That's why it's still there. It's not disappearing. In all fairness, where it locked out was 203, and we got all the way to 219. So, 16-point move on a 15 seconds, still not bad. Not every move on a 15 seconds is going to be massive. And then notice how we got to close below it. Now it's saying that price level's invalidated as a trap. So, and we're getting the double top. I'm telling you guys, watch it. This is why I don't trust this thing, because double top from it, here's our top, like I was saying. If we hit here and just shoot, that's a bearish structure that is now invalidated, and then it's probably going to go a lot higher. When you're looking at this like that, though, what I want to see is a pull below the high and then a close and hold below that low, which in a sense is just going to create somewhat like a head and shoulder, right? Is what it's aiming for, it looks like. Yeah, what a wild little push there. It's not way out of ordinary because, like I said, it's coming out of a pattern. So let's ask no, actually I think he built it more for candles, so it works on both. But let's see. I use Haikanashi, but yeah, see, it's still similar. Oh, actually, yeah.
There's a setting.
Didn't you say? I can't remember though. I thought you said that it's pulling it from one, no matter which one you're on. Because notice when I go to candles, it's the same thing.
It's just there's a setting.
Yeah, let me see. Can't remember. I haven't touched mine in so long.
Wait, no, I removed the setting.
That's what I'm saying. I think when we were a while back, we removed it because we just staticked it, which is why it's on both. So I don't think it matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. It's because it's pulling. I think it's pulling it from candles into Haikanashi. I think because you want that true candle close, is I think what we talked about when we were refining. But yeah, so it should be good. But I'm kind of watching this, guys, because remember we have our chop, our little sweep. We have our rate of liquidity. If we break the top here, we'll have displacement. It could go up a lot more. But for me, I want to see some kind of actual weakness, some kind of breakdown. I want to see this pull from these tops through here. But let's check, since we're, most people are done. Again, it's 10:20, guys. I would just... Oh, I hate Bollinger Bands. They're good to an extent if you use them correctly, but those things are, you got to really read those correctly, or you get such a false move from Bollinger Bands. Let's lean on Neo. Now that we have this push, I'm kind of talking to the community. We've already taken a couple trades, got our wins. Can you shift a little educational to the charts? What would we look for on a massive push like this to identify the trend exhaustion? What do we want to see? See that? Sweep, raid, displacement. So if it pushes a little higher, holds that, it would jump. But that's why I said I don't trust these yet.
Looks like the bulls are trying to run a marathon on a caffeine drip. Trend exhaustion isn't about guessing, it's about watching the result of the pressure. Right now, MNQ is showing bearish institutional flow despite the bullish pushes. That conflict usually ends in a trap,
Oh, yeah.
not a straight line to the moon. To spot actual exhaustion, stop focusing on how high prices and start watching for diminishing returns. If the pushes start stalling before hitting new highs, and pullbacks stop respecting that active 50% midpoint and start deep diving, the buyers are running out of steam. The trend is only actually dead when that selling pressure finally produces lower structure, not just because you feel like it's gone far enough.
Wait a minute. So if I feel like it's gone high enough and it should pull back, that doesn't work? Are you trying to tell people they can't trade their feelings? Let's taunt them a little bit. I want to look at something really quick just because of what you said on that. I'm assuming that's
You're welcome to trade
Paul,
your
on that.
feelings. Just don't be shocked when the market sends you an expensive bill for the therapy session. I'm not here to play referee. I'm just trying to make sure we're not the ones funding the market's next vacation. Trade the hype if you want, but the chart is the only thing in this room that doesn't care about your mood.
Ah, yeah, look
You
at
see
this.
that like channel and kind of breakout retest? You see that?
Yeah, we're also getting, you know, the micro side of it, another consolidation push. If we get the weak extension, lose of that low, yeah. So it's the exhaustion's showing, it's just not confirmed. But what I wanted to pull on that, so this is something I don't put on a lot, guys. The precision entry engine is an indicator we have as well. It's a buy sell signal, but I'm not a big fan of buy sell signals, and so I taught a while back how to put it on aggressive and use it as a bias. And so the bias is, you can see the 15-second has been nothing but buy. Even here on the open pull, we got the buy right there on the 1 minute. Then if I go to the 5 minute, let's see. So the 5 minute had a sell here. Let's see. And no buy. So we didn't have the buy on the 5. The 15 did the sell but did not grab the buy. So if we go back on the 1, one of the things I was telling people is don't necessarily just take the entries. What you want to do is, bless you. You gonna make it, Johnny? What you want to do is use these as guidance for bias. So if this is in a buy and these are all in buys, you probably don't want to take a short yet. And so what I would love to see is at least a short call from that indicator, so I know that it's potentially reversing. But the safer one would be a short here with a short there, and then that helps kind of give you additional bias from that. So that's kind of what I was looking on there.
Hey Nick, I did a the 3-tier move and then did the measured move off the first move.
Yeah.
And it goes up to the 370, and then I was asking Neo if that was even a thought, a possibility, and he said it is as a long term, it's viable, depending on where it gets out of this 200 to 210. With whoever wins that, and if the Bulls win, he said it could go up past that 306 up to 360, 370. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. That it is.
On the 15-second, looks like an inverse head and shoulders.
Well, yes and no. So I'll tell you, I cannot stand. I will not ever call this an inverse head and shoulders. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I know you're new on that charting, so I want to really explain this. Is what is an inverse head and shoulders? It's a reversal type of pattern. And so I usually want to see a pull with it like that, and then maybe push like that, like kind of on the bottom. Doesn't mean it can't play out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't like that because I've seen those not play out more than they play out. And so, but you can see, look at the push we're still getting, which is why I was telling you, even though it's looking tired, it's just not. you know, you got a tier here, we're above it. Tier here, we're staying above it. I mean, this is all push stuff. So let's look at, now let's start measuring some exhaustion from here. So we did get arguably about there. Let me widen it for you guys on TikTok. And then if you take that to there, you can see we stalled out. So from an extension, it's pretty equal. Then we take it from here to here, and we want to see, can we get to that, the 244? If we can't get to that and we start to lose some steam, then we can measure the 50 of it, and if we break that, that would give us our first sign of exhaustion. So, oh yeah, they do. Well, it's because, as Neo will say, let's see if he says it. We were talking about patterns, and I want you to give a little bit of your opinions. Someone mentioned about a inverse head and shoulders potential on the 15-second chart, but it was at the top of this push. What is your thoughts for everybody about patterns? Let's see what he says.
If someone spotted an inverse head and shoulders at the top of a massive push, they might want to double check if their monitor is upside down. Inverse hands patterns are reversal patterns meant for bottoms. Finding one at the peak is usually just chop, not a structural reversal. I wouldn't bet the farm on that pattern here. We are sitting right on the 30,234.25 institutional reaction level, which is the closest obstacle on the chart.
It's another level.
Trying to trade an IHS pattern into a gamma wall is a great way to get swept for liquidity rather than catching a reversal. If you want to trade exhaustion, wait for structure to actually break, like losing the 30,209.25 gamma support, rather than forcing a pattern that doesn't fit the location.
Makes sense. What is your thoughts on patterns overall? Do you think people should just trade patterns? I'm going to taunt them a little bit just to show you guys. So I'm watching to see if we get up to that 43 and how we react. If we tap it and then pull, then we're just in a deep channel.
Just patterns is like trying to drive a race car by reading a fortune cookie. It's amusing, but it's going to end with you staring at a wall. Patterns are just human scribbles meant to illustrate supply and demand, not divine instructions. If you trade a pattern in the wrong location,
we got
you
the
aren't a trader.
extension.
You're just an artist drawing shapes on a screen. An inverse head and shoulders at a peak is just a fancy way to draw yourself into a liquidity trap. Use patterns as context for where the buyers and sellers might be lurking, but if the structure, liquidity, and volume aren't backing up your shape, leave the artwork for the gallery. The market doesn't care about your drawing. It cares about where the money is.
Yeah, we talked about that a bit ago. Do you think like trend lines is good, or what should people do to separate their thought process from looking at a market like a retail trader versus institutional? We're just going to taunt them while we're just kind of watching this again, guys. Like I'll let all that go.
Trend lines are fantastic if your goal is playing connect the dots, but don't act shocked when the market uses that line as a launchpad to run your stops. Patterns are just human vanity projects. The market doesn't care if your dots align. Institutions aren't looking at head and shoulders charts. They're looking for where the retail crowd has collectively decided to hide their money. To think like a pro, stop hunting for pretty shapes and start hunting for liquidity. Retail looks for a breakout pattern to jump into. Institutions look for where the retail stops are sitting so they can sweep that liquidity before they actually move. Shift your brain from, what shape is this? To, who is currently trapped, and how much pain does the market need to inflict to flush them out? If you can't figure out who is holding the bag and where the liquidity is waiting, congratulations. You're the trap, not the one setting it.
That's funny. Yeah, you said something that was hilarious at one point. You said something about trend lines were crayons for adults or something. See if he remembers. It was funny when he said that.
Yeah,
so that's the extension.
Drawing lines on a chart is great if you want to feel in control while the market decides to paint right over them. Right now, MNQ is ripping to 30,254.50, and if you're relying on your favorite crayon lines to tell you exactly where the trend ends, you might find yourself holding an empty bag. The market doesn't care about your art class. It only cares about where the money is lurking. Leave the art for the gallery and watch how the price actually behaves at the 30,209.25 support zone instead.
Stop attacking me.
Get your eyes off my chart. If you had to choose, what do you think has more weight? Should people be focusing on trend lines, patterns, structure, order flow, liquidity? Label it out. What do you think is most important? So what I was looking at is that predictive kind of we talk about. So I want to see if this holds and we get.
If you want to survive, stop treating your chart like an art project. The foundation is structure and liquidity. That's the where and the why. Order flow is your GPS, telling you if the market is actually following the path or just lying to you. Patterns and trend lines are just
that's why I'm
frames
not
for
playing with
adults.
this.
You can draw all the pretty lines you want, but when the market hits a liquidity wall or the order flow flips, your art class is getting canceled. Structure and flow pay the bills. Patterns just look good on TikTok.
They just look good on TikTok. Look at again another one. Yeah, this thing has just got strength, guys. But again, I don't really care. I don't have FOMO. I don't care where this goes. But I want to see. I'm looking for weakness, and we don't really have it yet. Because you can see we had a deep extension with a weak pull, deep extension with a weaker pull. We pushed, not really a deep extension, but it held the high, broke through that channel, held the high again, right there. Now we kind of channeled there, and then we squeezed it. You can see we got the higher lows squeezed in, and then we just induced through it. And so it's just not really showing a lot of weakness right now, guys. You can see we're still getting those the buy signals everywhere. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna jump in. I don't have FOMO to that. There's no chance I'm gonna just floor right into this thing. Can you give me the institutional levels up here now that we're kind of up in this little stratosphere?
If you're looking for levels in the stratosphere, you're currently staring at the immediate major gamma resistance right at 30,279.25. If price manages to chew through that, the next major institutional ceiling is sitting all the way up at 30,509.25. Just keep in mind that buying directly into a major wall is the fastest way to turn a good trade into a liquidity sweep for someone else's benefit. So if you're chasing up here, make sure you've got real confirmation. Don't just assume the wall is made of paper.
Man, 509. Whew, man.
I was about to say, did you just say 500?
That's what I was saying. Like, good lord, the institutions are stacking. They might sweep this, but shoot, guys, we might be running. 279. He has another one right here at 279. They're definitely stacking up. Definitely stacking up, guys.
They can make it real quick. They're gonna trap and get in good liquidity before they go to 500.
Good job, Rick. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the hard part though, is again Neo said in these kind of climbs, you know, when we get into that mindset of it's gone far enough we should pull back, you know. I mean it could, but it doesn't have to pull back a lot. And there's just not any retracements that are showing any kind of strength whatsoever. So even here, you can see we're still tapping that 236. I want to see this break to a 382, then reject, then lose that. Then it tells me we got our first kind of show of some weakness.
We've seen that's where it has a really good move, and then it gets really nerve wracking. And then after you get tired of watching it, it moves up to where you thought it would in only an hour.
Yeah. The thing that you nailed on the head there is hindsight is the most beautiful thing out here. And so for the TikTok comment on there, it's so easy to go, what do you mean today was a hard day? It just went to the moon. You throw a long in and you won. Like, oh, if it was that easy. But keep in mind there's many ways to trade. And part of what I teach in the mentoring you have got to figure out what kind of trader you are. Not every trader is the same. It's just not. This market gets globalized so much, it's scary. Some people are really good at loving tops and bottoms. They want the oscillation. They want that chop zone. Some people love the trend, the breakout, the push. There's people I'm sure that are eating this up, and they probably took a long, from either here or from the pullback break above, and they're just holding it, and that's awesome. Kudos to them. But for me, I can do both, but I will not take a deep long play unless I predicted it. Like if I said, hey, if this breaks above there, boom, holds this, like I'm long, let's go, target there. Or if Neo predicted it, then I'm down. But if I didn't predict it, and I'm kind of looking for any kind of exhaustion, you gotta let it go, a bit and wait, because at some point, guys, the market loves to do this. It likes to kind of build its structure, whatever. It'll range, then it'll break out of the range. Then guess what? It'll find a range. And so you want to find the structure of that next range, and then you can play that range, but you don't know where that range is until we get there. It's pretty obvious to tell we have a pretty nasty looking channel that you can see it's trying to respect right there. And if you cut through this one a little, that'd be like kind of your parallel. So all parallel channels break down. It's just when it breaks down is the only question. So, but we have 79. Now what I like to do is I like to look deeply into what is it doing. And so we have a nice little bearish structure forming. And so if this just shoots up, we're still invalidating bearish structures, guys, on the micro side. And so but this right here, the way that we swept, should have pulled to there, and it didn't. We didn't pull a fib up, so maybe it stopped somewhere there. Let's look. Didn't respect that. Broke the 382. Let's grab the actual pull. Yeah, we still didn't respect that. So we should get at least to the 36. If we break this 36, then we'll get a deeper pull. But that would be the pull. Try to bounce if it wants to invalidate again. So let's see. Now that we're up here, I'm not a huge fan, as you well know, of taking longs without some kind of retracement after this big ass move. What would I want this thing to pull back deeply for a better long setup? Or better yet, if I wanted to try to short a top, what would I look for entry wise and structure wise to short the top?
I hear you. Chasing a rocket ship halfway to the moon is a great way to get dumped in the chop shop. You are right to wait for a better location rather than acting like a headless chicken.
Perfect 50 right
For
now.
a safer long, I would wait for a pullback into that 30,198.77 gamma support zone. I'd only trust it if I see a confirmed higher low or buyer absorption on the 1-minute chart.
So he didn't
The first target is a test of that 30,267.00 high. The setup is structurally broken if price loses 30,198.77 and fails to reclaim. If you are itching to short a top, I would look for a clear rejection from that 30,248.77 resistance level. I need to see a lower high or a bearish candle body close confirming the turn before I'd even think about it. If that confirms, the first target is a move back to that 30,198.77 support. The short thesis is structurally invalid if price rips above 30,267.00 and accepts there.
So I want to take that one out. So I kind of like the way he set this up because I agree. If price can push up here and absorb south, close it, his target's 198, which is likely. If it pushes back above here, then the 279 is what he's looking at. But he doesn't want a long. If I'm looking for the pullback like I like and prefer, he doesn't like the long until we hit 198 and show a good buyer support off of that. So That's probably what I'll look at. Yeah, his entry for short, he wanted the tap on the 48, so we literally just tapped it to $1. So we have absorption, tap on the 48. On the close below there, like right here on the next candle, if we can close below there around 230, then that would give you your likely entry for that. Because we just tapped, see, we haven't got a 1 minute close below that level yet. But what I like about looking on the 15-second is he wanted a tap on the 48 and a show of seller intent. And so we did get the tap perfectly that he was saying, but we do have some absorption. So I'd love to get a close below there before I get the expansion from within that. But let's look and see. Ooh, look at that, getting our first little sell potential too. And remember, it's normal for us to get a breakout and retest a top in here anyways, so. The first kind of exhaustion we've actually finally seen where the sellers are kicking in. So it meets all his qualifications. We'll see if we get that 198 pull. Anybody trailing this short? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Look at how long. I mean, this is where patience, guys. Like, you just gotta wait. I mean, you don't have to. Guess what? I'm gonna tell you a secret about trading. This is really difficult to hear. You don't have to catch that one, 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 that one. You don't have to catch all those. You don't have to get them all. Oh man, that sucks. Oh, I hate when I'm trading and everything just freezes. Oh, I like full on panic. Like, wait, what is going on? Buddy, we're not done yet. I know you want me to pet you. You're getting bored. I get it. My dog's already coming up to me, guys. He's like, but it's almost 11. It's my time. Getting some support, but again, I'm a big fan of, is the market doing what it's supposed to be doing? The pull was there. The target was here. The preferred for the long setup was to pull back to there. It may pull back to there all the way. It might not. Always trail your stuff. Likely most of you guys already trailed out. If you didn't, you can hold it, but a clean break and hold above 248 kind of invalidates it. 279 for sure. But why is it bouncing here? Remember, nothing's ever going to go directly to the target. It bounced literally perfect on our prior tops. Perfect on it. So it's bouncing where it's supposed to bounce. Now, if you take the overall high to the pivot low, we're rejecting perfectly on the 50%. That's what it needs to do to go lower. If it blows through that 50%, then you're still trying to hold your short. You might be concerned on that, right? No. Well, the indicator doesn't do that. No, it's more for bias than anything. Why we made that one, but Neo will, the AI. I mean, Neo will give you entries, exits, targets. Hell, he'll manage to trade with you while you're in it. So, but yeah, I'm in the short on this one, but I don't. If we jump on it, I'll probably just kill it in the way for another exhaustion setup. But I was expecting a bounce from this high. But remember, if this pull can't break the 50 of that pivot, which if you take that one, we rejected. And if you take the overall one, it hit literally to the damn dollar. But to get that, what I want to see if we're truly exhausting out, guys, or if we found our range that we're going to be in, is I need to see it disrespect a high, because we have not done that yet. So you got to be careful, because we've not disrespected a high the entire time. And so the first disrespect of that high could be pretty deep. But we got about 10 minutes, so I just want to see if we get this little sweep into that area. So again, also set your TP as a little conservative. Mine's at 205.25 on it. Don't get greedy, but I'm also going to trail mine here in a little bit if I don't like it. So I'm just kind of watching to see how these candles are continuing to react. As of right now, we bounced where we should have bounced. We rejected where we should have rejected. We are getting a little bullish OB, but it's not closed yet because we haven't closed outside of it yet. So let's see. Sellers look like they're making an attempt to push this down. See how we're still fighting this high, guys, so it still runs the risk of jumping, but if it loses that high, it's going to drop.
Yeah, old school Neo's got a 250. Sellers are trying to crash the party, but it looks like they forgot their keys at the door. It is a shallow pullback so far, and the bulls are still holding the fort while price stays above the 3,198.62 support zone. I wouldn't trust the downside until sellers can actually crack that 30,198.62 level and hold it with a 1-minute candle close. Until then, this is just a local shakeout in an otherwise bullish setup.
Yeah, I think people were already in the short that you called earlier on the tap rejection from 248 targeting 198. So we're just kind of waiting to see if we're going to hit that TP.
The classic watch paint dry phase of the trade. If you were holding that short from the 30,248 rejection, you are basically watching a game of chicken between that 30,218.62 overhead wall and your 30,198.62 target. Price is currently hugging that overhead resistance like it is a long-lost relative. If the bulls decide to shove price above 30,218.62, that short thesis gets a quick eviction notice. Until then, it is just a waiting game to see if 30,198.62 acts as a target or a trampoline for a bounce.
Yeah, so yeah, 3-2 lines up pretty good there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get it pulled through. It's channeling a bit though. Again, I really would rather, I'd love to see it break that, but at least this is at that prior low, so they may try to sweep it. If they're going to send it up, a lot of times they'll sweep it and then jump it. But again, you know, we've had a good day. So if you took the trade, just make sure you're trailing. Let's see if we get it air. I was looking at the structure. It looks like if we can break and hold below that 198, it's pretty decent probability the bears would take over and send this a lot farther south. Are you seeing something different? Again, if you're thinking something, guys, just ask them with AI.
You aren't seeing things. That 30,198.62 area is definitely the anchor for the bulls right now. If sellers can shove price below that level and hold it with a 1-minute close, the bears finally get their invite to the party, but until that support actually crumbles, the bulls are still breathing.
Yeah, Bobby, the Lucid account finally showed up. That's weird. Every time I've used them, you know, when I do my my little stretch accounts on it, I haven't had that issue. That's why I was like, what is going on? So, could just been an abundance thing. I know they're growing. Oh man, my neck. Oof. Sitting too much. Guys, it's 10:53. We were just intrigued by this little structure push here. a lot of times with me, I get very intrigued with these things, and my mind gets a little running a million miles an hour because I want to look for that top, that potential exhaustion, is what I'm aiming for. And so you can see if you go to a 1 minute, we have a pretty good pivot, pull, and then we have another pivot. Now the difference is if it were to take, I'll just do the ruler. So if I go from here to here, it's 191.75. And if I go from this one to 191.75, would be right there, close around there, which is perfect to those tops. So we have a perfect measure move extension to those tops. So arguably it would be a 1, 2 weak expansion here would be your 3. So where you would get a true drop would be if this were to pull and close below there. Because then that would be your weak expansion, close below the high, the low, and then that would give you your bigger drop. The if you take the whole structure, that would put a retest pretty close to that 75 that I was telling you guys. I think we're going to try to come back and retest. But that's kind of a different way to break it down for you guys. So when I get this type of move, I love to analyze tops and bottoms. It's my jam. Yeah, so I love to analyze these tops and bottoms. And here it is. Well, hit my TP on that one. Who TP'd that out? Did you guys take a little bit up, like I was telling you guys? You guys TP'd it out? Nice. Pretty cool it played out. And that's the beauty of, not only Neo, but kind of what I teach is, and I hope on the mentor side, that you guys all behaved and waited patiently because that is the trick, right? It's trying to be patient. So I want you guys to think about this. Anybody that's still hanging around, looks like a good amount of people got bored and dropped off, and that's okay. When you trade, if you didn't predict something, you don't have to take something, because guess what? It is beautiful, and I'm sure many of you are guilty. Come on, be honest. I know you're guilty of looking at it going, oh, dude, if I just held a 1 in Q from open, I'd be up $6,000. Like $6,000. Why did I take profit here? Why did I trail it out here? Damn, that would have, instead of my 1,000, I'd have 6. What is wrong with you? Like you're so hard on yourself because of a move that you never would have took all the way. Let's be honest, right? And so you cannot do that. You just cannot do that. You will destroy yourself in trading if you try to do that. What you want to do is if you take a move and it expands well past what you planned, you need to just let it go. Because guess what? If you told me, Nick, but I made $1,000 on that, but no chance I'm shorting it with this big push, and then Neo calls that breakdown, and I say, well, I made $1,000 on that, your $1,000 is no different than my $1,000. And guess what, guys? Although we would love to get the massive moves, and it can happen at times, if you can just wait, we already got the quick short, everybody flipped long, and got a really big move here. Even if you wait through this entire thing like I did, and then you take that short, I mean, just that short from there to there, I was up like another 900. And so if you're so hung on trying to get all these moves, you're gonna have a lot of trouble in your trading career. I do not care if I miss a move. I absolutely do not care. because I know there's another one. If anything, my mind is just going bananas trying to study for the next one. So here, you guys can clearly see this would be a potential head and shoulders. The bulls know that. They're not going to want to lose this level. But if we tap, tap, tap here, close below there, we're going to get the expansion back down there. I would highly suspect, based on this whole move, where it is, that we would come back and retest at least these lows, if not this line. I would even, and again, this is no TA involved, guys, so don't take my word on it, but I've traded a lot, and on Thursdays, more than any other day I've ever seen, they will go pump, 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 like, oh, to the moon. Guys, every time I enter along, I just push the button, it goes to the moon, and it just is so amazing, and here we go, we're doing it again, and then it just absolutely floors, and we'll create a lower low. And we'll come all the way down to probably that trend line. And all that work you just did got absolutely destroyed because you got greedy. And so I've seen this happen on Thursdays so many times. That is why I'm like, I'll let it rip. I don't even care. Not interested. Thanks, but not interested. So 11 o'clock is here, guys. That went by pretty quick. I was a little distracted. One with the accounts taking a little bit to show up, and then on top of that, I get a little, my mind starts running when I see this structure because I'm looking for the movements, the exhaustion, the play. Neo's call on the break, for those who missed it, and the close below the 248, targeting the 198. So nice little 50-point move at the end there. I would not suggest entering again. We don't know if this is going to just test and hold and invalidate. Are they setting up, a bearish structure to just build in some shorts before they rip it up again? We know there was some institutional context up here, 280 and 309, so it could happen. This push is showing our first sign of exhaustion, but it doesn't have to be a full rip back down. This thing could just do this for a little bit before it decides to lunchtime rip back down. Or could just kind of do a little accumulation here and then rip back up. Because remember, he gave some ridiculous target of like 512. And so we're going to do some heavy studying on this one, guys, in the afternoon here. So once we kick over to there. But very interesting day, guys. Depending how you played it, you either did really well or not so well. If you guys in the mentor and the pre-market VIP group, we talked about, if we break and hold above here, specifically there, do not short that top unless you get really decent expansion and structure. If you look at my other charts, 288 is a pretty high resistance. Let's look and see why I even put that. I don't recall. Okay, so a little subjective because you can see we had prior lows, a lot of support from within here. A lot of resistance from there, and then we swept it, and that was a big drop that began our descent. So could be anywhere from 288 to 320, but anything up in here, even this 238 area to 260, pretty much from 238 to 288 is just nasty resistance. So I again would still not recommend going long on there. And I know it could go up, and it's fine. You got to be okay with letting a move go. But I'm going to get rolling, guys, because we got to get over to, I really want to study this with the group here. If you're interested, those that are still sticking around here, NextStepAlgo.com, Neo, that's who we've been talking to. TradeVision is where it's at. Just quickly, we do a 3-day free trial for it. We have 2 plans, basic and pro. The logic doesn't change no matter which one you do. The basic is 100, the pro is 250. So if you're interested, check it out. And if you guys have any questions, you guys can get to me on TikTok, email, support ticket, however, I'm pretty easy to reach. But appreciate you guys joining. I'm gonna drop the YouTube. Oh, I just seen over there on the YouTube on that, Daniel. I was looking too, and I didn't even see that. that post if you're still in there. But yeah, the short one that's playing out, I have a low volume left on there, but I already shaved most of my rungs. The rest of the short that I'm gonna play to is TPing somewhere here. I think it's 61 that low. I'm expecting a sweep of the low and then make a decision to pop or to dump. That's what I was doing. But no chance I would long up here. Only long if you hit that 98 and jump, like Neo said, or if you get down to here, that 37 and clear push. But Neo said if the 98 holds, you know, that we could jump, but look here on the 1 minute, we just got a trap block. So I wouldn't trust that with a 10-foot bull. All right, man. Have a good one. I'm gonna drop off the YouTube. I'll be in the other one here. I'm not getting off.